The word public in public administration is not so much public in some situations. The word public in public administration is not so much public in some situation. You can answer this question only when you know the meaning of the word public. You know the full scope of the word public. First of all, we need to understand that, and then only you can connect. The word public in public administration, the word public in public administration has three meanings. First, the word public means anything which is associated, any action, activity or institution, policy, anything which is associated with state or government, related with any state or government rather than any private entity. I repeat, the first meaning of the word public is this, that anything, the policy or activity or action or institution is associated with state or government rather than any private entity. First meaning of the word public. Second meaning of the word public is anything which is concerned or which is related to the public at large, the common mass, rather than a particular group or community within it. The second meaning of the word public is that it is concerned with the entire common mass, public at large, rather than a particular group or community within it. And third meaning of the word public is transparency, rather than secrecy. So we say that please make the report public, means make it transparent. So these are the three meanings of the word public. So if any administration is defined by three-dimensional meaning of the word public, it qualifies to be called public administration. If administration as a organized collective effort of two or more persons towards the accomplishment of a common objective, if administration is taking place on behalf of the state or government, or administration which is committed to the interest of public at large or common mass welfare, development, security, and the administration conforms to the principles of transparency, I'm talking about in the context of democracy, then it can be called public administration. So when we define administration is the sum total of all those activities. Administration is the sum total of all those activities which are carried out by a select group of individuals towards the accomplishment of a common objective. That is administration. That administration can take place. That administration may take place in the private sector setting, or that administration may take place on behalf of the government or state. So if there is an administration and it is accompanied by the three meanings of the word public, administration is associated with government and state, or it is acting on behalf of the state or government. Second thing, the administration is committed to public at large, the common mass, and it also conforms to the principle of transparency. Then it qualifies to be called public administration. So the word public in public administration signifies the common mass, public at large, transparency, and association with the state or government. What is clear? This is the meaning of the word public. Now come to the question. The word public in public administration is not so public in some situation. Public administration, on the face of it, on the paper, public administration is government's administration, and public administration is an instrument in the hands of the political leadership with which it accomplishes its goals and objectives, or it converts its vision into reality. If public administration, which is supposed to work on behalf of the state or government, which has to carry out different kinds of activities and the functions in furtherance of the interest of society at large, it has to maintain the transparency. If that public administration deviates from its path, if it is found that the public administration is acting on behalf of the state or government, fine, very good on the paper, but in reality, the officials or institutions, agencies are found to be working in some kind of nexus with vested interest or some private interest. So on the face of it, public administration is government's administration, but in reality, they are found to be politically motivated. They are found to be very much corrupt. They are found to be concerned more with the interest of some private groups or communities, some private entities, under some kind of give and take, quid pro quo kind of arrangement. To that extent, that the word public, meaning of the word public is defeated. If public administration, instead of upholding the larger interest of the common mass, under political motivation or because of its own institutional fallacies or problems or corruption, what do you say? If instead of focusing on the larger interest of the society, the Aam Aadmi's interest, it focuses more on the interest of some privileged group or community. It means hands of administration, when it comes to enforce law, hands of administration fall very lightly, or it does not fall at all on those who are rich and powerful, those who are privileged. And hands of administration falls, heavily on those who are poor, who are underprivileged, Aam Aadmi, common people. It means laws are enforced selectively. Activism is found to be selective, and very often it is found that administration instead of enforcing a rule of law, it ends up enforcing the interest of those who are powerful and with whom the administration has developed some kind of give and take arrangement. And if administration is found to be not so much transparent, some kind of secrecy is maintained, contrary to law, it is not so much transparent. So to that extent, you can say that the word public in public administration, it gets diluted, it ends up losing its significance to some extent. So public administration, the word public in public administration is not so much public in some situation. Is not so much public in some situation means that in some situation you will find that the public administration is not so much concerned with the larger interest of society, or public administration is found to be not so much concerned with the directions of the political leadership in furtherance of the cause of social justice or economic justice. It is found to be concerned more with the limited or private interest of some powerful, rich and powerful sections of society. And if it is found that the public administration is not so much transparent as it is supposed to be. So to that extent, public administration exists as public administration on the paper, but the first word public ends up losing its significance to some extent. So the word public, and so you can say therefore the word public in public administration is not so much public in some situation. What is clear?